Hey there, today we'll be painting the Undead Outlaw from Reaper Miniatures to the Ultimate Level standard. So let's open him up. Don't forget to recycle your packaging. First thing we need to do is clean the model up. Just take a scalpel or a sharp blade and trim the casting line off of the model. Make sure you're careful and you always cut away from yourself. Ultimate Level miniatures come with a base. Grab yourself some super glue and carefully stick them together. Apply a bit of super glue to the top of the base and stick some of the included gravel on the top. Dip them in salt to cover any gaps. So here I've base coated the whole model with earth brown. First thing I want to do is get the messy step out of the way. Take some tan leather and pop a little bit on your palette. Dip your brush in it and then wipe most of the paint off on a bit of tissue. Lightly brush this across his base to bring out the raised detail. Let's mix 50-50 earth brown and leather brown together and use this to paint his duster, his waistcoat and his hat, leaving the earth brown base coat in the holes and shadows. Layer this up by adding a bit more leather brown and concentrating your brush strokes on the edges and raised areas. Next, add even more leather brown and repeat, each time covering a smaller and smaller area and leaving the previous layer showing around the edges. Do this again with pure leather brown. Next we'll start to highlight by painting a line along the very edges of all the clothes. Make a 50-50 mix of leather brown and tanned leather and use this to paint a thin edge highlight. When it comes to his shirt, we'll go a bit lighter to show that it's a different fabric. Take pure tan leather and highlight the folds and edges of the rips in his shirt. Mix a bit of polished bone into this and paint the very edges and tips of every fold. We'll base coat all the bone areas with bone shadow, so that's his knee, his exposed ribs and his skull. We'll also paint his boots with this at the same time. Next we use aged bone to layer up the bone areas, painting each individual bone. We'll leave his boots for the moment. Make sure you leave the bone shadow in between his ribs and in his eye sockets. Next up, we'll mix polished bone with aged bone and edge highlight the bone areas. Finish off by painting his teeth with pure polished bone. Grab some Terran khaki and use this to highlight his boots. Just feather the paint across the raised surfaces to make them look worn and dusty. Use some pure black to base coat his trousers and gloves, being careful not to get any on his coat or belt. Base coat his gun with black too at this point. Take Stormy Grey and add a small amount of black to it, using this to layer the clothing, leaving the black in the shadows and the recesses between his fingers. Finally, take pure Stormy Grey and highlight the tops of the folds in his clothing, the edges of any holes, and his individual fingers. Use black and steel to base coat his belt buckle, his buttons, and his gun. Take care during this stage and only use the very tip of your brush for the fine detail. I like this with tarnished steel. And with that, the model is done. I've painted the edge of his base black just to break up all the brown, and hit him with a coat of spray varnish. Don't forget to like and subscribe, check out our other videos, and we'll see you next month.